My name is Rocky Moretti. Moretti is spelled M-O-R-E-T-T-I, and I'm the Director of Policy and Research with TRIP. TRIP is a nonprofit organization based in Washington, D.C. We're supported by a coalition of manufacturing, insurance, construction, labor, and engineering organizations that support us in providing reports looking at the condition, the use, the level of safety of our nation's transportation system, and looking at issues like traffic congestion and freight movement, and really seeing just how the whole transportation system supports our economy and quality of life in general. This report is based on the latest analysis of data from the New York Department of Transportation, from the U.S. Department of Transportation, and then organizations like the Texas Transportation Institute that do additional research. The format today is I will quickly provide a presentation based on the findings of our report as it pertains to Long Island. And then we are going to hear from Sherry Rice. Sherry is the Director of External Relations with the Long Island Contractors Association. At that point, we're going to open it up for any questions. If you have a question, you can use the raise hand or the message function, and we'll elevate you to the panel, and you can ask your questions. Today's TRIP report looked at the impact in New York of deficiencies in the transportation system. The TRIP report estimates that the statewide cost to New York motorists of driving on rough roads, of a lack of reliability due to traffic congestion, and the economic cost of traffic crashes in which roadway safety features or the lack of adequate roadway safety features were contributing factors, $28 billion annually. TRIP estimates that the average motorist in the Long Island area is the cost to the cost to Long Island drivers of roads that are deteriorated, congested, and in some cases lack adequate roadway safety features annually is $3,192. The report looked at pavement conditions across the state and noted that 26% of pavements in New York are rated in poor condition and 19% are rated in mediocre condition. On Long Island, the report found that 34% of state-maintained roads have pavements in poor to fair condition, and 66% are rated in good to excellent condition. The report also looked at bridge conditions and noted that 10% of bridges across New York are structurally deficient, and these are bridges that are in need of immediate repair, in some cases reconstruction or even replacement. On Long Island, the TRIP report found that 13% of the region's bridges are rated in poor to fair condition, and the remaining 87% are rated in good to excellent condition. This 13% indicates bridges where inspections have noted that there are deficiencies and deterioration or are going to require, based on conditions, anything from some ongoing maintenance to significant reconstruction, in some cases, the replacement of those bridges. We've also been looking at travel trends during COVID and noticed that in April of 2020, at the very early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic, the vehicle travel in New York State was down by 45%. By this October, vehicle travel in New York was 8% below pre-pandemic levels. And so we've seen that vehicle travel has returned almost to pre-pandemic levels in New York. We've seen across the country that traffic congestion, particularly in the evening hours, is back similar to pre-pandemic levels, and starting to see congestion in the morning also returning. Our report is that we took a look at the impact on traffic congestion on motorists. The report found that the average motorist in the Long Island area is spending an additional 92 hours annually stuck in traffic due to traffic congestion and wasting an additional 38 gallons of fuel every year due to traffic congestion. The report also looked at traffic safety, and we note that over the last 5 years, on average, there have been approximately 1,000 traffic fatalities in New York. And as the report points out, that 32% of these fatalities are of pedestrians or bicyclists. So the lack of adequate roadway safety feature is having, unfortunately, an impact on motorists, but also on pedestrian and bicyclists. And as the report points out, that when state and local governments have the resources to invest in their transportation system in terms of improving roadway safety, and that can be everything from adding rumble strips to adding turn lanes to improving lighting, to using non-skid pavements on intersections, adding guardrails, and then also looking at pedestrian and bicycle facilities and improving their safety components. These can have a significant impact on improving traffic safety in New York. The report points out that approximately $1 trillion worth of goods are being shipped annually to and from sites in New York, the majority of that by trucks. And that figure is anticipated that we'll see a doubling of freight movement in New York over the next 25 years. We've seen this with the pandemic, where the need to move goods and for consumers and businesses to acquire goods in a very timely basis has only increased. And so we're becoming increasingly reliant on a very reliable freight system, and a freight system that can move goods and small packages very quickly. The good news is that while there are significant infrastructure challenges in terms of improving the condition of our roads, highways, and bridges, and also notwithstanding that increasingly this older infrastructure needs more than routine maintenance, but increasingly needs significant reconstruction and repairs to address subbases on roadways, to address some of the major components of a bridge structure, which is going to have a significant impact on the cost of improving overall conditions. The good news is we've seen an injection of additional state money over the last 3 years, which saw a significant increase in New York Department of Transportation's investments in roads, highways, and bridges over the last 3 years of 37%. And then on top of that, in the fall, we saw the approval of the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which increases federal funding of roads, highways, and bridges in New York by 52%. The current share of the state transportation program funded by the federal government is approximately 38%. So this significant increase in federal funding combined with additional state funding is going to be very critical in New York and Long Island being able to make further improvements in the condition of their roadways and also their bridges, and making the type of long-lasting repairs that are needed. It will also provide additional funding for improving reliability of the system to make sure that the level of mobility provided across Long Island supports the economic and social needs of the community. And finally, with that, I'll conclude my comments, and I'll ask Sherry Rice to offer some thoughts on the new report. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocky. Yes, my name is Sherry Rice with the Long Island Contractors Association, and we're thrilled with this report that our friends at TRIP have put together, basically showing what we have known, the desperate need for continued funding for our roads, our highways, and our bridges here on Long Island. As Rocky said, the numbers speak for themselves. 13% of Long Island bridges are in poor or fair condition, and the cost per driver annually of over $3,000 due to the condition of the roads is outrageous. Drivers are experiencing more time annually in traffic, instead of being home with their loved ones. And even our governor, during her State of the State, mentioned the Long Island Expressway and its potholes. So, we're going to continue to work with TRIP, and we're going to continue to advocate for safer and better roads that will bring Long Island and New York into a new era of transportation. And thank you, TRIP. This report will help guide that process.
Oh, Rocky, you're muted right now.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, Sherry, thanks again for your comments. We're going to open it up for any questions, and Carolyn, if you can address that.
Sure. Thanks, Rocky, and thanks, Sherry, for your time today. As Rocky noted, if there are any questions for Rocky or for Sherry, you can either use the raise hand function at the bottom of the screen, or you can submit them via the chat function. And I'll elevate you to a panel so you'll be able to ask your question live of our panelists. While we wait for any questions to come in, I'll note that the full report is available on our website right now. You can find that at tripnet, tripnet.org. And we'll also have a recording of this news conference that'll be available on our website in the next half hour or so. At this point, I don't see any questions that have come in yet. So Rocky or Sherry, if there's anything else you'd like to add while we wait for any questions, feel free to go ahead.
Just that for the remainder of the day, I'm certainly available for any additional comments or interviews. So, you know, and I'm easily contacted through a variety of the trip documents, which has my contact information. So again, thank you, Sherry. And,
Thank you, Rocky.
We'll go ahead and conclude our call for today. Thank you.
Thank you.